So I'll just do, I think everyone's coming in now. So I am just going to do a little introduction. So welcome everybody, and thank you for attending today's webinar. So I'm very excited to have Ken along today for our webinar. So it's going to be very exciting. So Ken's background is quite extensive, so I'm sure we're going to learn a bit more today. I was just checking out your LinkedIn profile before we jumped on today. So Ken is known as the Video Marketing Guide, and you've released this new COVID-19 rescue crash course in video marketing. And I know one of the things that we found with our clients is they're either afraid to get in front of the camera, or they just don't understand video marketing and they have not been using any video marketing. So I know, because I don't see it. Or if they are, I don't know where it is. So there are lots of opportunities for them to get onto LinkedIn and also using other social media for their video marketing, which is the reason why I invited Ken along to come and do this webinar, particularly for a lot of our clients and people in the training industry, to help them have a better understanding of what they need to do in order to get themselves online. So welcome, Ken. Thank you very much for joining us in the Education in Isolation, and I'm looking forward to myself hearing about what you're going to be presenting today. And I'll
Perfect. Thanks so much, Angela. No problem. So I'm curious about your audience, actually. How many of them, and you probably already have this number, but I'm just curious, how many of you had your business either shut down or slowed down as a result of the lockdowns, the quarantine, and all of that? I'm just going to look here at the chats, and like, if it's a yes, I just want to know, because some businesses and industries were affected way more than others. I see a yes, yes, yes. I'm seeing a lot of yeses here. Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm in the right room, because I know some people whose businesses have just really taken off, like some e-commerce businesses, some training businesses, and most people that I know actually have gone down, because I'm acutely aware of this, because most of my clients are actually in the event space. They rent out locations where they put anywhere from 500 to 5,000 people in a room. They got to pay 18 months in advance, and they're in a lot of trouble unless they pivot and they figure out how they can take their audience from a live situation to an online situation. And first of all, before I start, Angela, I just want to give you permission, if I'm going too fast or if I'm using lingo or jargon that doesn't make sense in this context, just interrupt me and say, Ken, could you please repeat that? And I will not be offended or insulted at all. And anybody watching too, just please put it in the comments, and I'd be happy to take time to explain each step of the way.
Certainly will, Ken, and I'll also be monitoring the chat. So if people got questions in there, particularly if you've got questions specifically for the training industry, I'll assist with that. But I will also be keeping a list of questions, so you're happy to take questions all the way through, Ken?
Sure.
Is that correct?
Well, I will have time at the end to go more extensively into it. But if there's a part that needs clarifying, please just ask away.
Yeah, and I will also be collating questions. There will be a big opportunity for everyone to ask questions at the end.
Perfect. Okay, so let's start. And I'm going to share my screen here. Now, I know that this is not the normal screen share, and it might not go to full screen. So if you want to see mine in full screen, just go to speaker view, and you'll see this pop into the main window. So first, I want to talk about the different types of businesses that I see. And just a little bit of background, I have a video marketing agency, and I usually go in and I do all of the marketing and the video production and the creation for my clients. And I see a lot of businesses who really love, or business owners, you might say, who really love to have a lot of structure in their business. That means they really like the processes, the systems, and things like that. And then we have the kind of people who really kind of run on inspiration, and they've got an idea, they run with it, and they keep going and going and going, and they make sure it gets done. And then across the bottom, you've got people who are introverts, and then you got the extroverts. These are just personality types, but they can also represent a stage in your business development, right? And one thing I've seen a lot is that when people start out, they're somewhere in this zone. And the reason is that you're a bit introverted and you don't put yourself out there speaking and making video, maybe because you just don't have that much experience. You haven't had a whole bunch of wins yet. And you run on inspiration because maybe it's a side gig and you do it when you feel like it, but it's not your main source of income yet. And there's two ways you can make progress. One is you go straight up here into the area where there's a lot of structure. And a lot of people do this and they're very successful and they get into email marketing, copywriting, website design, funnels, maybe a little bit of coding, figure all this out. And the thing about this area is where you have a lot of structure and you're an introvert, you could sit at your desk and never show your face and still create a pretty successful business online. So and it works very well for some people. Now, others go in this direction where you've got situations where you want to go out and meet people and network, shake a lot of hands, use your natural charm and charisma to win people over, maybe speaking gigs where you do keynotes or trainings or you're a guest speaker. And this is the kind of person who doesn't necessarily need a script or a specific format or a slide deck. They could just use their intuition and their charm and their experience and get a lot of leads for their business. And the problem is that people in this area are in a lot of trouble now because, as we know, networking events are out, speaking live is out, and you've got to do everything through the filter of this thing right here. This is the webcam, and the webcam is the new business suit. You know, the better you look on the webcam, that's the equivalent of having a great suit and showing up at a meeting. So what do we do, right? So the key here is that how can we take the people in this zone and bring them up to a new area and put a bit of structure into their presentation, into the way they interact with people and get new leads and sales. And this is really the concept of the video funnel, where we don't want to necessarily have to learn email marketing, copywriting, website creation, funnel building, or coding. We just want to perform and let our personality, our character, and the experience you have show through show through with the videos. Angela, I just want to check in. Are we okay with this pace? Is this making sense so far? And
yep, you're on track.
Yep, okay, yep. Great. Just want to check in.
Audience, yep.
Okay, perfect.
Training face to face. This is where they're at right now.
Okay, perfect. So the key here is, and I don't mean to toot my own horn too much, but with our agency, I think I've counted recently, we've done well over 4,000 videos that we've created for our clients. And I think we've got like 158 million views. And this is not cute kitten videos or, bikini babes. This is marketing content that's gone viral. And that's a lot, over 150 million views. And it's in the high 8 figures as far as sales directly attributed to these videos. So I happen to have recognized a lot of patterns. And one thing that I realized is that a lot of people think of funnels as something that you put a video into, right? Inside the sales message, you put a funnel. Inside the welcome page, there's a video. But the way I look at it is you got to put the funnel into the video. Now, if that is a little bit confusing, I want to walk you through what I call the video funnel. And what this is a way to measure and calibrate how you're doing with your videos. And if your videos are not performing well, how to optimize that so that it performs even better. So if you look at this, it looks like a typical funnel, but an old-fashioned funnel is going to look a bit more like this, where at the top you've got, free content, and then you've got, cheap content. You've got like something like a tripwire here, maybe a squeeze page. There's just a whole lot of stuff that goes into this. And then when you finally get through all of this, then eventually you could go down to the bottom and actually make some money. Now, the way I look at it is you should be able to, every step of the way, actually calibrate. That's the beauty of a funnel, is to see how well you're doing. And the way you calibrate a video is, first of all, you got to think of that the titles have got to come first. You've got to write a title before you make the video. Now, here's an interesting statistic. There's a number, 85,000, and that is the number that represents how many screens you scroll through on average on social media per year. 85,000. And if you can't get people to stop to look at your video with the top bar of your title, if you don't have a killer title that's formatted correctly to get people to stop scrolling just long enough so that your video can autoplay, then it doesn't matter if you've got the cure to coronavirus or the solution to global warming or cancer. It's worthless if they don't pause just long enough for your video to start actually playing. So the title is more important than the content itself. You've got to understand that. And the next thing is, once you get them to stop scrolling, you need a format to put your content in. And later on today, within this hour, if we have enough time, I'm going to walk you through how to format your video content using what I call the HILDA method. And HILDA simply stands for hook. You got 3 seconds to make a statement that will put a hole in their mind that will get them to watch to the end. That can only be filled by watching to the end. Then you introduce yourself, lead their anticipation. That means heighten the expectation, deliver some value, and then ask for the right thing. And it's got to happen in this sequence. And this is a 3 to 5 minute video. And everything that every concept, every idea, every bit of value you have to share can fit into this format. And every video I've made that I've gotten over 10 million views have used this format. It's been tested and proven. It flat out works. So you got to format your videos properly. Now, once you get people to watch to the end, then you need to introduce something called the missing link. Now, the missing link represents the thing that will take them from neutral and confused to over the moon happy, because you filled the gap and you gave them what they never knew they always needed. And this missing link is something that is free for you to give, but priceless to them. Now, I'm talking about things that they have to have both an aha moment and a strong desire combined into one. So I'm going to walk you through a bit of that and also show you how to do this a little bit later. So this ask is, you're going to ask them, hey, do you want this missing link? Now, if this connects properly, then you take them to the next stage, which is the smooth segue. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but on LinkedIn and on Facebook, probably 5 times a day, I get someone that drops this big paragraph of text into my direct messaging. And on the top, there's a pitch. Hey, my name is so-and-so. I help people do this and that. And here's a link, schedule this in. Here's a testimonial. Have a look at that. If any of you have gotten pitched like that on either LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, just give me a yes. I just want to see if I'm the only one that gets these big blocks of paragraph pasted in with people pitching you. Am I the only one? I don't know. Okay. Yep, we all get that. And I just want to hear, give me a no. Actually, give me an exclamation mark if you actually read this. Like, who actually reads that stuff? No. Yeah, that's a no, right? Nobody reads it. And the way I see it, it's like, that's right. It's really hard to process because it's in a really big paragraph. And that's number one. Number two, obviously they did not just go and type that for you. They're pasting that to every single one of their 5,000 friends limit and their 30,000 LinkedIn contacts. And it is not a good way to start a conversation. It's like you're constipating their system, right? Like, I can't process that. And it's not fun to read. And I just know they're pasting the same crap to everybody. So I just zone that stuff out and everybody else zones it out. They might have a 0.0001 conversion rate. And if they, that might be worth it to them. But that's not a great way to build a relationship. What we need is a smooth segue. And what that means is, how can you take them from engaging in your video so that they initiate the conversation? In the video, remember, we had this part here, the ask. We ask for something. And we ask them, would you like this missing link? This thing that's going to take you from confused and neutral to over the moon happy. And if so, after watching the video, you want to get them to respond and then use a combination of frameworks so that you know where you're going and where you came from, and scripts to, there's a T there, to get them to a conversation on the phone about a sale or actually close a sale right there inside the chat. Now, I don't speak from theory. I'm actually doing this right now. And without ever booking phone calls, we're selling programs for $1,000 and it flat out works. And one thing I'm obsessive about is that the stuff I have my clients do, I do it myself. The stuff I teach to in my courses, I do it myself and I test it. I know currently this is working super well. So this is the video funnel model. And this whole funnel, everything that you see here, it happens inside of every single video. And there's no script. I'm sorry, there's a bit of script. What I mean to say is there's no funnel involved, there's no websites. It is all just how you structure your video and the order in which you roll it out. And every single one, without building any additional collateral, you can start generating leads and video doing just this and posting it on social media. Now, before we move forward, I just want to know what part of these functions. Now, we have a few things there. How to write the title first, the Hilda format, creating a missing link, the smooth segue. Which one of these would be the most interesting to you? Now, I've already planned to teach some of this, but before I go into it, I want to know which are interesting. Is it titles, Hilda, missing link, smooth segue? Hilda, okay, Hilda. I see 2 people for Hilda. All. Okay, I'm getting a lot of answers here. And I think Hilda is probably, it usually comes on top because people have a hard time structuring this content. Okay, got it. Angela, should I just go right into the next stage and just show them how to build Hilda content models?
I think that sounds like an overwhelming response there.
Okay, I'm glad to know that this stuff is still relevant. And so before I jump into this, I want to give a tiny bit of backstory about how I came up with Hilda. I have a client, his name is Peng Jun, and he's quite successful in the internet marketing space. That means he shows people how to build funnels and things like that. And he came to me and says, Ken, I want as many videos as we can possibly do together. And he's a busy guy. He's constantly traveling and speaking. And we got to where we were shooting a whole bunch of videos, about 20 in a day. And then what happened was once we hit around the 15 mark, and me coming as the videographer, producer, director, and him as the talent, around 15, he would start, his brain would turn to mush. Like, here's what's going on, is your brain being, as powerful as it is, it's consuming 25% of all the calories in your body. And this is, biological fact. But when you're in overdrive and you have to be creative and consistently come up with new, catchy, clever ways to say things, you get, you burn out really fast and your material starts coming out like crap pretty quickly. And you can go for a half day being super creative. And I think there's very few people that can actually go for like an 8-hour day, spitting out content all day and making it original and interesting throughout. So after we had a couple of really rough days, I thought, how can I take the creative part and the discretionary part out of his brain and have him follow just a system so that he can just take whatever he wants to talk about it, put it into a format that is easy for him to spit out quickly and still has the engagement that we want. And it turns out that after I started doing this, the engagement got better and we started going to about 40 videos per day on a good day. And on a bad day was 30 videos a day, and we'd get it done in about 6 hours instead of 8. So I started refining it, and it came down to this Hilda process, and I've been using it ever since. And I think we've done this in the real estate industry. We've done this definitely in the training speaker industry, healthcare industry, in the weight loss industry, fitness coaching and gym industry. It's just across the board. It flat out works. And I think I've said enough about it. Let's just jump into it, shall we? Here we go. So first of all, it's the Hilda content system. And this is a part of a bigger slide deck, but this is, it's just one part of the activate part of my Genius model, which is really everything to do with video marketing. But the thing I want to share with you, I'm going to turn off my screen here so it's not in the way, is that this is a toilet. And you know that's a toilet. And you're probably wondering why the hell I'm showing you a toilet. And this is following what's called the 3-step toilet strategy. And I saw an interesting statistic. This was by a company called HubSpot. No, sorry, not Hub. Yeah, HubSpot. And they found that 85% of videos on social media are viewed by people sitting in the toilet. And so I thought about that, and I actually took my phone and went into the restroom, and I thought, oh, here we are. Here's the statistics here. The videos are going to be square and mobile. That's absolutely the majority. And they often watch without audio because they're sitting in a toilet. And that's 85% of, sorry, 85% is watched without sound. I'm saying this all in the wrong order, forgive me. And what's going on here is that this is a CNBC study. They found that 69% of videos are being watched by people in the toilet. So the assumptions I made after I actually walked into the restroom and had my phone in my hand and I came across the first video is when it started playing, then I immediately had to mute the video. I muted it because I was in a public restroom and someone to my right and to the left. It's a little bit embarrassing to have the speakers blaring. And then the person didn't have captions there. So that got me to, I couldn't consume the content. So here's the 3 assumptions we're gonna make about your videos. The number 1 assumption is that we're gonna assume that they're distracted and we need that top headline. This is the first step of the funnel, right? We need the headline to get them to stop scrolling. And number 2, we're gonna assume that they're muted or deaf, right? And we need to caption all of our videos. Now, if you stick around to the end, I'm gonna share with you a resource that's gonna show you how to actually shoot, edit, and put captions on your video, the headline and the captions, and do that all in less than 3 minutes using only your phone and using software that's available on smartphones. So just stick around, I'll show you how to do that at the end. Now, we're gonna assume they're busy. We gotta keep these short. The sweet spot is between 2 to 5 minutes. They're in the bathroom, they don't have time for 15-minute videos. They just want to be in and out and be done with their business. So following these principles, we have the Hilda system. Now, we don't, the old adage is you want to be able to sell like toilet, I want to be able to sell like ice cream on a hot summer day, but I want you to be able to sell like toilet paper during a pandemic. My slides are going a little bit crazy here. They're going too fast. Anyhow, so the old way of making video, and this may sound familiar to you, is number 1, we want to think about topic to talk about, then write down a few bullet points to keep you on point, start talking, then run out of stuff to talk about, and then eventually just stop. And if that sounds familiar, that's how most people start, and that's how a lot of people are still doing it today. But the Hilda system is a little bit different. First, we hook them in, introduce ourselves, lead anticipation, deliver value, and then ask for the right thing. Now, as we go through this, you might want to pull out a piece of paper because I'm actually going to help you build out your content as you go. So if you got a paper and pen, or if you got something to type on, it would be very advantageous to you to do this. So first of all, I'm going to explain about how to hook. Now, the phrase you want to keep in mind here is, how can you put a hole in their mind that will get them to, that can only be filled by watching the video to the end. And a few ideas for this is you want to make an unexpected statement, something that is going to break their pattern, something they're not expecting. Ask a question that will get them to internalize and start thinking instead of just casually listening. You want to use some numbers. Now this is, I'm not exactly sure why, but putting numbers inside of your opening statement. For example, if I said 85% of videos are watched without audio, that 85 sticks out to people. If I say the 3 things I do every morning before I get out of bed, that number 3 catches people's attention. And you want to tease value. Talk about what you're going to share at the end. For example, just earlier, I just teased that I'm going to show you how to shoot that video and edit it on your phone in 3 minutes or less. So these are ways to get people hooked in. You put a hole in their mind that can only be filled by watching till the end. And what you want to think about is, how can you get in, get out, and get them hooked in about 3 seconds? And 3 seconds is an important number because that is how long people watch before they decide whether they'll continue watching the video. Now, you've got to introduce yourself after you hook them in, because here's the thing. If you're famous enough that people already know who you are, for example, if I brought Tom Cruise onto an interview with me, he wouldn't have to introduce himself. Everybody knows who he is. Now, if you're not famous enough that you have to introduce yourself, then you want to keep it short, because people don't really care what you have to say yet. Sorry, they don't care who you are until they understand what value you're going to provide. And that's just the reality of social media. So the introduction comes after you've hooked them in. And there's a formula. I love formulas. You want to use your first name plus your business title. So for example, if that's me, I'd say, hey, my name is Ken, CEO of Oz Media Global. Or first name plus who you help and how. I might say, hey, my name is Ken. I help business owners to get more leads and sales on video. And the third option could be first name plus accomplishment, known for. So I might say, hey, my name is Ken. I'm known as the video marketing guy. Now, the mistake you don't want to make is to stack these. Don't say all three of them. Hey, my name is Ken, CEO of Oz Media Global. I help busy business owners to get more leads and sales through video, and I'm known as the video marketing guy. That would be a big mistake. That's going way too long. Choose one of the three, and that's how you introduce yourself. You want to keep it short, snappy, and simple. Keep it short. Now, the lead. This is more of an art than a science, but there's a few things you got to do. Number one, you want to poke their fear. Think about a fear that they've already got, but remind them that it's there. And I'll give a bit more context to this in a minute. You want to build importance. Tell them why what you're about to teach in just a minute is important. And then create curiosity. Make them curious about it. And there's another way you can lead anticipation, is to draw the line that it's just you and me and the rest of the world. Meaning, for example, hey, as trainers, we get what's going on, and the rest of the people out there don't understand. As bald people, we understand the struggle that other people don't get. As women, like, how can you draw a line somewhere where you and the viewer are on one side and the rest of the world is on the other? And the key words here are curiosity, context, and concern. How can you make them more curious? How can you build more context around it? Context could be just telling them how you came about the information. And concern, how can you make them concerned about what you're about to deliver? Now, the third part here, this is the actual meat, where you're going to give them, you're going to deliver on what you promised when you hooked them in at the beginning. So a few ways to deliver this could be cause and effect. The reason why some CEOs are earning, I don't know, 7 figures and some are earning barely 6 is because of this. So cause, effect. Common misconceptions. Most people think this, but actually this is the truth. Most people think that if you cut down on carbs, then you'll lose weight. Actually, this is the truth. Transfer of blame and guilt. This is super powerful. Robert Kiyosaki, in fact, made his entire speaking career out of the concept that it's not your fault that you're not wealthy. It's the government's fault for the faulty education system. So you're transferring the blame from themselves, from the person watching, and putting it onto a third party or person. And then they become enamored to you for having relieved them of that guilt. And then the fourth one is how can you have a binary or polarizing point of view? For example, you might go on and on about how, let's just say, with this coronavirus, a great thing could be a really polarizing view, because it could be that you take a stand and you could say, you know what, I think that this whole thing is completely bullshit, and the risk is not worth the amount of, the risk to the economy is not worth the risk to the health. Let's open the country back up. Or you could take the other point of view. It says, how could we, even risk one human life when, all these people care about is making money? But if you take a stand somewhere, then you will have a strong following, and you also have strong detractors. So you got to be careful. Make sure you take your stand where you want to back that up over time. So the key words here are you want to educate, edify, entertain. If what you deliver educates someone, they learn something new, edifies, adds value to their life, or entertains them, they at least think it's funny or they enjoyed watching it, then you've got a great deliver model. Now, if you could do all three, that is the trifecta. Now, we've come all the way to HILD in Hilda, and the last one is ask. And the only time where you want to ask them to do something is when you've literally drugged them. Now, when I say that, I say this with a bit of humor, but also there's some truth in this, because sometimes when people ask you, what do you do, Ken? I say I'm a drug dealer. And they, of course, look a little bit confused. And then I explain that here's the thing. On social media, the most important currency is people's time. When you get people to pay attention, then you could make money. Facebook, Google, every single platform out there makes money by selling the viewers' time. In other words, you force them to watch some ads, and then people pay for that time. Now, if you're putting out free content that gives people value, then what's happening is the fact that they watch means they paid you with the most valuable currency online, which is time. And you, as the dealer, as the shop, has to deliver with a little dopamine hit to the brain. You got to help them feel happy or enlightened or feel like it was worth their time. They got to feel good about themselves in that moment. So that's the D in Hilda, is deliver. It's also dopamine. You want to release dopamine in the brain. And when you have the dopamine running through the bloodstream, which lasts for about 10 to 15 minutes, that is when you want to go in for the ask, because they're feeling so good about what you shared that they're educated, edified, or entertained. Then you could say, hey, can I ask you a question? Now, there's a format to this at the end. It's who plus context plus action. Now, I love formulas. This is going to be super easy. You might want to write this down. Number one, you want to think about who might be you, a friend, a colleague, or your boss. And the context could be needs to hear this, agrees with, has this problem, would like this. And the action could be share, tag, comment, or get this free thing, get your missing link. Now, what you want to think about is who, why, and what. Now, if this is confusing to you, I'm going to walk you through how this might look. If you say, you might say, hey, if you agree with the message in the video I just shared, then do me a favor and comment yes down below. It could be another one. You could say, if you have a colleague who needs to hear this, then share this to their timeline. So you literally just have to pick one of each and find the one that's appropriate. Now, you can change these lists out, but this is a great way to get started in a really simple, elegant way to ask for the right thing. And remember, it comes right after you deliver great value and they're feeling like it was worth their time to watch. I just want to check in, Angela. How are we doing? Are we following? Am I going too fast, too slow?
No, this is gold. I think everyone's, we'll just get people to put in the chat how they're going, but I think it's going really well. I totally get it. I'm putting a spin on the training industry and what we need to apply. So I've got a couple of questions that we'll keep to the end.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Now, the next part here is, I know that I usually do, I'm sorry, not usually. Sometimes I have worksheets ready. Now, this one was a little bit impromptu and I'm just giving you bits and pieces. So what you want to do is just grab a piece of paper and put down five rows. It could be in one column, and let's actually build one together. Now, I'm going to give some examples. You're going to write what fits for you. But before we start, just take a minute and think about one thing that you can deliver value in. Like, can you teach people a way to change their state in the moment? Can you show people in a video how to, I don't know, knit a sock? I would just want to see some examples of value you can deliver in a video. Can I see that in the comments? How to blank or anything like that. I just want to see some ideas, and then we could work off of those ideas and you could build out your first Hilda, and we'll do that together. How to get your training online. Perfect. I love that, Angela. Top 3 tips when training at home during COVID-19. Perfect. How to get that promotion. This is excellent. Excellently. Okay. Okay. So if you haven't written down one yet, get one in your mind, and it might come to you as we go through this. And I believe there's going to be a replay available later, and you can do this again if you like. Angela, will there be a replay available at some point for these for the attendees?
There sure will.
Okay. Perfect. So the way we deliver the Hilda is from the top to the bottom: hook, introduce, lead, deliver, ask. But the way we build it comes in a different format. We start with the deliver. First of all, think about the thing you're going to deliver. Now, for me, it's going to be, most people get this wrong. I'm going to talk about a misconception. And the misconception I'm going to teach about is that a lot of people, when they want to get started with video marketing, the misconception is, I need to buy more gear. And I always call them out on that. That's complete bullshit. If you can't tell the story right, and if you can't engage people with what you already have, which is your phone, then don't waste your money on gear. That's a complete waste. Get your storytelling and your format correct. And then when you get traction and get some leads and sales, use that money to buy the gear. So that's what I'll teach about, right? That's the deliver. Now, how do we lead anticipation to that? That's the second thing you have to fill in. So now that I know what I'm going to deliver, I think, why is this important? And the context I'll give to that is, you know what? I get this question a lot. So that's just the context. Now you can say, or I could just say, why is this important? The reason this is important is I might be saving you tens of thousands of dollars by giving you this advice. And that's why this is important for you to listen. So write down what you're going to deliver first. And remember, guys, bullet points, not scripts. We're not going to be reading scripts. And that's one of the things that I tell my agency clients all the time. We don't do scripts, we do frameworks. Because when you're in a script, you're in your head. When you do a framework, you come from the gut. And there is a huge difference in the quality of delivery and engagement with the camera when you come from the gut instead of your head. So bullet points, what are you going to deliver? And then think about how you can lead anticipation to that. Now, the third thing you're going to fill out is how you're going to hook them in. Now that you know what you're going to deliver and how you're going to go into it, think about what statement can you make at the beginning that's going to correlate to what you're going to deliver and get them to want to watch until you deliver it. So in this case, I might ask a question. I might say something to the effect of, what's the first piece of gear you need to buy when video marketing? Now, that might be a bit misleading to some people, but it might be what they need to start engaging with the video in order to understand, actually, they don't need to buy gear. What they need to invest in is their own practice and putting in some time in getting their story down. Now, this is super, super important. Get the hook really nice and short and tight. And if you need to rewind and look at the part where I teach you how to build the hook, you could do that. And the next thing is who you help and how. This is how you introduce yourself. Remember, guys, first name basis, don't do full names. It's too stuffy and old. That's not social media. That's 80s style Toastmasters. What you want to do is first name and one of the options, who you help and how, what you're known for, and your title. Pick one and go with that, or you can skip it all together. And at the very end, you want to think about what you want to ask. So in this case, comment below if blank. And here is the key. If you could start getting comments below, then what's happening is you start the conversation through a video. They reply in the comments, but that response is them initiating contact to you. Then that gives you permission to respond and start the next stage of the process, which will smoothly segue them into either a direct sale there inside the chats or a setup where you could get on a call with them and do more of a sales presentation or have a meeting where you explain more of the details if this is a higher ticket item. So that is it for what is entailed in the Hilda process. And I'd like to, and I know we're a little bit early here and I went pretty fast through this. So Angela, maybe I'll pause here and just see how we're doing. What questions do we have? Do I need to clarify any of those points that we went through?
Okay, so David's just asked, can you put the last slide back up again so that they can get this? I'm going to create a form on this and for the video replay so people can have a look at this and use this as part of their process for building their Hilda.
There you are.
So one of the questions that I had is, I think where people get stuck, I think you actually explained it quite well. There is, how do they get that hook question, which is very much where you went with the first one, deliver the value. So most people get this wrong or whatever it is that they're going. So I think where a lot of people get stuck is, how do we hook them in? What's that question? What's the framework around that?
So probably the best way to teach this is to get some examples. And what I can do, and what might be interesting, is if somebody gives me an example of what they're actually doing, right? A topic to train on, then I can just give an example of how I would format that in a Hilda framework. So, oh, this is really good. Lyndall's grandmother is named Hilda. That's perfect. You will not forget that. So, Angela, would you mind if I just field some ideas from the audience? I want to know what topics there are. And if we can unmute someone, I'll just ask a couple questions and I'll build a Hilda out, because once I build it and you see it in action, then it all clicks together and it becomes super clear, usually.
So this is a good opportunity for someone to volunteer to be hotspotted right now. So yeah, so just pop them in the chat what you would like. Someone said, choose me. Very interesting one. So we do sexuality and relationship education for high school students.
Okay. So let's see. We've got Judith teaching people how to communicate with the elderly. Can we unmute Judith? Is that okay?
Yeah.
That sounds like a very, very needed topic, because as people are getting older, we don't want to help. Well, anyhow, let's help out Judith here.
I've unmuted her now, so it's just whether.
Perfect. Judith, I can not see or hear you. Check, check, check.
Go, Judith. She may not have a mic, not sure.
Okay, maybe if somebody has a webcam and a mic and wants me to work on their stuff, then I can help out here. All right, how about Ryan? Ryan has a capital Y-E and a small S. That looks unique. Let's do that.
Okay, I'll just find Ryan.
Ryan, why don't you just type in there right now, what is the... Okay, we're almost there. I can almost see you. And by the way, guys, if you're having a hard time seeing my screen, if you just click on my part of the window, right click, and then do pin, and then this screen will stay up while everybody else is on the side, because I'm sharing my screen slightly differently.
So Ryan, you're live.
Hello?
Yeah, I got you. How you going?
Hey, Ryan. Thanks for volunteering. So Ryan, tell me a bit. Why don't you tell me what the first step is, which is deliver. What do you want to deliver?
So what we want to deliver, I've just got some notes here. Let me have a quick look. Delivering the value for me would be simple things that, everybody can do for their mental health while going through this COVID-19 sort of pandemic from home, and the impacts that people may be experiencing.
Okay. With COVID-19. How about, and when we say simple ways, could you give 2 simple tips? Is that possible?
Yep.
Okay.
One would be how to identify if you or someone is experiencing a crisis, a mental health crisis.
Okay.
And the other one would be what to do if you are experiencing. So the first part would be identifying a crisis, and then simple tips that you can deliver or help other people.
Okay, now let's go into the lead section here. Tell me about why it's important to deal with this in this way. Like, how did you come across it? Why is it important? Bit of backstory. Could you think of something like that?
Sure. So I think number one, it's important because we've never really experienced a situation like this ever before, apart from say 100 years ago. And
what happens if we don't deal with it?
Well, I think people can possibly lose their life or lose some close friends to them. I know that sounds horrible, but if people don't actually identify what's going on, that's where the real issues are caused.
Yep. Okay. And let's hop on over to the hook. Now, I think I'm going to come up with a hook on this. And
Sure.
considering what you told me in the deliver and the ask, if we open it up with something like, there's 2 simple ways to deal with COVID-19 that may save your loved one's life.
Yeah, I think that's a definite. You spoke about, I don't know where I wrote it down, it might be up here, that you sort of want to create not a sense of unknown, but you want to make a point to really engage their emotional state.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, that's right. So let's talk about how you're going to introduce yourself. So I've already got your first name, which is Dave, right? Is that Ryan? Sorry, Ryan. I'm sorry about that. And what do you want to go with?
Well, look, I think what would be important would be, hi, I'm Ryan Daly. I'll either say the business title, but I think it's probably more important to say something like, I share tips and skills to help individuals deal with their mental health and well-being.
Okay. How about we condense that a bit?
Yep.
To say that last part again.
I help individuals identify their mental health and well-being.
Okay. We might have to polish this up.
Yeah.
Identify health and well-being, but we'll go with that for now. Health and well-being. Okay. And do you have a private Facebook group or resource like a PDF worksheet or a questionnaire that would help people through these 2 steps, or as an extension of it?
We do. So I think what was really good was we're setting up a free mental health and me course through our business website that enables everybody to jump on, go through a PowerPoint presentation with one of our mental health facilitators and share a bunch of resources free of charge that are going to give, the everyday Joe to maybe give their own mental health sort of check.
Okay.
So that's sort of the resources, that's the funnel that I guess we're trying to build.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play the role of Ryan and go through this how I'd probably present it on video. You guys ready?
Yep.
I just want to know I probably can't do everybody, but I hope this is going to be enough that you guys get the idea. So when I start, I always count myself down, because counting up, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you don't feel like it, you can go all the way to 100. So you always count backwards from 3 to 1, and then you got to start. So that's how I always start my videos. So 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, I want to share with you today 2 simple ways to deal with COVID-19 that could potentially save a life, especially somebody who you love. Hi, my name is Ryan, and I help people identify what health and well-being issues they might already have. Now, here's the thing. COVID-19 is brand new. It's never happened before, and we don't really have a precedent, especially with the recent surge in international travel, with the recent technology, and the biodevelopment of all these viruses is completely mind-blowing, and we have no precedent with which to judge this. So if we don't respond with as much care and as much with as much tenacity as possible and following all the best practices, then literally people are dying. And if it's not you, it can be your grandmother. If it's not your grandmother, it could be your neighbor's grandmother, or your coworker, or your friends, or your wife, or your loved one. Who are those people who are most at risk? And what can you do today in this unprecedented situation where people are arguing in both directions? We need to open up the country to enable people to get back to making money. Or no, that's so selfish. We should be putting lives ahead of money. No. And there's so many voices out there. So I'm going to do you a favor and simplify this by just giving you 2 simple things that you can focus on and cut all the clutter and the negativity and the misinformation out. And these are 2 incontrovertible truths I'm going to share with you. That's going to help you dial into what is actionable right now that is absolutely going to help save lives. And that after I share this will be an incontrovertible truth that you can action right away. So the first one is 1, and Ryan, I don't know what you're going to teach here in Identify, but you're going to teach this in step 1, and then step 2, teach that step 2. All right, guys, look, I hope those 2 things made a lot of sense to you. Now, if you have somebody who is struggling through this situation, struggling and knowing what to do, what to listen to, do me a favor, or actually do them a favor, tag them down below. Also share this video with them, because this word needs to get out. And what's happening is that if we don't get this message out, there's going to be more misinformation, more fear, more confusion. We need to get this message clear. There's just these 2 things that you got to do to get started. Please help me share this message. Now, if you're looking for help and if you want to work on your own mental health through the situation, I've got you covered. Now, what I want you to do is just type yes down below in the comments, and I'm going to show you how you could get a free course that's going to help you to assess your own mental health. Now, here's the thing. When you're going through battle, you might be shell-shocked. There's a lot of injuries that happen. You got all this adrenaline pumping, and you don't realize that while helping others, you might be the one that actually needs the most help. So I'm here to help you through this course. This is free. I want you to actually go through this, and this is my gift. This is the best way I know to help engage people and to, from the isolation of my home, help engage and help people who are helping others through this course. So please, do yourself a favor. You've done so much for others. It's time to care for yourself. Click down below, get this free course, see where you are with your mental health, and see if I might be able to help you for free. Please click. And that's the end.
Awesome.
Is it making sense?
Yeah, really, really good.
Ryan, you need to have that recorded.
Well, it's really funny because, I've worked with funnels previously, but I've sort of been out of touch in terms of the marketing and the funnels. And this just come up at a really good time. And I guess what I took out from that was that I had components of what you just went through. But this has just given me a really clear indication of what's, the end product, which was just done like that from a few bits and pieces, is such a polished product. And I think it's because the structure is there, and that's what's most important. But yeah, awesome job.
Perfect.
Really,
Glad to help. So did that bring some clarity to how Hilda comes together? You just need to build it in that order, and it takes a bit of practice to do it smoothly, but the more you do it, the better you get at it and the smoother it gets.
So we've got someone who has volunteered who's from an RTO.
Sure.
So we would love to have
Could you
Michelle,
share with me what RTO means? I'm
Registered Training Organization. So
okay, got it.
It'd be great to see how you could work through for a registered training organization on how they could market. And Michael has
let's do this.
Volunteered. So I will bring you up, Michael. So you're just coming online now. If you have video, that would be great. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Michael, can you hear us?
Michael. I don't know where he is. It sounds like he's having a conversation somewhere else.
Okay.
My voice is not working. Has anyone? Okay. All right. So he's just put a message in there. All right. Is there any other RTOs out there? Ian from Rose Training. Ian, you're ready to volunteer? Okay. I'm bringing Ian up now. Hello, Ian. Ian? Oh.
Let's unmute
there we are.
And start my video. There we go. There you go.
Hi, Ian. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks very much. We've become experts in Zoom. We've got 2 kids doing Zoom online at home, 8-year-old twins. Our Zoom meetings for our RTO, Zoom. Wished I'd bought shares of them.
Got it. So you know the drill. Let's start with, what do you want to deliver? How do you want to educate, edify, or entertain the the audience with your topic, and tell me real briefly what you do.
Yeah, so we're a very specialised RTO. Our main product is Certificate 4 in Celebrancy. We train wedding celebrants, and funeral celebrants for that matter. So we are able to offer people in this environment. It's a great time when they're thinking about alternatives to retirement. Generally, they are the 55 plus. But there are a lot of younger people coming in, particularly since same-sex marriage. So an opportunity for them to start preparing now to have some passive income, some income when they retire. So it's for people, typically our student cohorts coming out of nursing, teaching, airlines, marketing. A lot of people that are a little bit extroverted to start with.
All right, perfect. So let's start with what you want to deliver to them. Give me a bullet point.
What I want to deliver to them, I want them to sign on the dotted line to sign up for either our virtual or our online Certificate 4 in Celebrancy. So a training product to become a registered celebrant.
Got it. So what's going on here is that if we come back to here, then like the way I found the most success is really that when we work on the Hilda, this is what's going to get people to actually share and engage with your video. And if you could bring them to the smooth segue, this is where you can direct them to a sale. So what we want to do is create content that people are going to actually enjoy watching and want to share. The kind of videos that don't get shared are pitch videos. Even though some people don't mind getting pitched to, like I don't mind getting pitched to, but I will very rarely, and most people will not share a video where a sale is being pitched inside the video. So we got to separate the message where you're giving value and where you're asking for a sale. These are two completely separate components. And the reason for this is, think about this. You want to sell in private, where it's a one-to-one conversation, but give in public, where you can build a brand as the source of wisdom, as somebody who's entertaining to watch, and somebody who is very, very generous with information. So if that's making sense to you, when we build the Hilda, let's think about what can you do to educate, edify, and entertain, but not sell yet, because that happens in the next stage.
Okay. Well, I guess to edify, educate, or entertain is to tap into those people that think that they can educate or certainly entertain, because a celebrant is an entertainer. They are an MC in the front of the crowd. So we try and tap that potential in those people with that inclination, wanting to that are happy to stand in front of a crowd.
Okay. And do you teach any tips on, like, inside the course itself?
Yep.
Do you teach them about how to earn more, perhaps, or to get more gigs or sales?
We do. We've got a product that we give away that has a value to it. So a lot of these people don't understand social media marketing. So we have a little social media marketing kit, how to self-brand themselves. At the moment, we were really oversubscribed to Facebook Live. So we were showing these our celebrants and our student celebrants how to live stream their weddings, because in Australia we've only got up until a little while ago it was only 5 at a wedding. Now it's gone up to 10 people at a wedding. So took the fear out of setting up a Facebook Live. In that we show potentially how to use 2 cameras on a Zoom session if you want to Zoom live a wedding, stream it around the world.
Okay, so how about how to officiate a wedding remotely?
Yep.
How's that? Okay.
Yeah.
Now the lead. What context can we give to this? How did you come up with this, or how important is it? Talk a bit about that.
Okay, well, COVID has the government were the ones that forced maximum number of people at a wedding. So this is out of necessity.
Okay. So how about we just say something like, we all want to do what's right and safe, right?
Yep.
Okay, and hook. How can we put a hole in their mind that can only be filled by watching till the end?
That's where we need your help here, the big hook question.
Okay, how about we say something like, well, on average with your clients, how much cash do you think they have in reserves that they can keep their business going before their burn rate is gone? Like
very little, very, very little. Yeah, that's
so.
Yep.
Give me a rough number. How many weeks or months?
So celebrancy is pretty much, wedding celebrants are pretty much part-timers. So they go from one wedding a month, perhaps, to a really good one is doing 4 or 5 a month. So that's a real, but we're pitching to, or we're trying to gather the interest for those that are thinking about becoming a celebrant. Why would you become a celebrant? The hook there is to have something, you know, you're considering a career change. You're at home now. You're at the end of your, you know, you've been a nurse, a healthcare worker or a teacher, and you want to get off your feet. You're close to retirement, but you still need to have some potential income.
Okay.
So this puts an opportunity for you to have your own part-time business running on the weekends while you're still doing your full-time job, and retirement doing it full-time. So
okay, would you call it like a transition career?
Yeah.
Like transition. Okay.
Yeah.
How about this? I know. You serve mostly Australians or worldwide?
Australia, yeah, because of the legal ramifications. A lot of legal stuff taught in the course.
Australia's #1 transition career, and then even during COVID-19. Okay, how's that?
Yeah.
Okay, introduction. First name Ian.
Ian.
Known as, or position. What would you like?
The general manager, Rose Training.
How about we say Ian with Rose Training?
Yeah, Ian with Rose Training.
Because what we don't want to do is we don't want to come across as being stuffy, right?
Yep.
We want it to be just like a casual conversation. And at the end, do you have a lead magnet? Do you have a resource to give them that they can consume for free? Or
yes. Yeah, we have a number of things that we want to give them.
Throw one at me.
Well, the Facebook live streaming program has been very popular. We have what's called a lead generator pack, so it helps celebrants do social media marketing. It teaches them a little bit about Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Okay, I think we got enough to go on.
Yep.
So I'm going to ad-lib here a bit, and I'm not actually going to teach the lyrics. I'm not the expert there, but I'll just run through everything else. Okay, so just from the top to the bottom. Now, before I start this, there is something that I want to share, and there's 2 advantages to the Hilda format. Number 1 is you get the right bits in the right order to keep people's attention, but number 2, and you'd be surprised at some of these clients I have, people like Grant Cardone, people like Peng Jun, people like Tai Lopez, whose videos I produced. A lot of them actually use the Hilda format, but they don't shoot it all at once. We shoot them in 1 bit at a time. Shoot the H, shoot the I, shoot the L, shoot the D, shoot the A, and then we just edit them together, and it's completely seamless. So if it seems difficult for you to flow like I do, don't worry. Just shoot 1 bit at a time until you nail the hook, until you nail the introduction. And then in post, edit them together if you have somebody who can edit. So I just wanted to share that with you before I go into this. Now, so let's go through this. And I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. I'm going to share with you right now what I believe is Australia's #1 transition career, even during COVID-19. Actually, I'm going to qualify that by saying, especially during COVID-19. Hi, my name is Ian with Rose Training. And right now we all want to do the right thing. We want to do what's safe. We want to do what is best for you know, the health of the, especially the elderly people who are most at risk, but also what is right by you as far as what kind of income do you want? Because you know you deserve a good income, and you know you don't want to be a burden to your relatives if you can't provide for yourself. You also know that you really don't want to be on your feet, you know, 12, 14 hours a day, or maybe even 5 hours a day. It's time to transition into something that feels right and safe. And that is what I want to talk about today. How can you make even more money without having to travel or be on your feet all the time, and transition to a career that is quite prestigious, where you can actually just help people have more fun and you enjoy the process as well. So what I want to share with you today is how to get all of that by officiating ceremonies remotely. Now we're going to, you're going to teach a bit of the tech, a bit of the process, Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Give them just enough so that they're curious enough to want to know more. All right, guys, I hope that was valuable to you. I gave you just enough so that you understand the process and how to get started. Now, if you're the type who loves Googling and doing research, which I am, by the way, then this is going to be enough for you to actually go out and do it. Now, if you're the type who just needs a little bit more guidance and just wants somebody to nudge you in the right direction, and best of all, to do that at a very low cost or free price, then what I have is a gift for you. Now, this is not for the DIYer, the person who wants to do it themselves. This is for the person who just wants a bit more help, or maybe potentially actually wants me to look over the shoulder and guide them through each step of the way. Because I've done this quite a bit. You know, I've helped several hundred, tens. I've helped a lot of people get through this process and become profitable while doing something they absolutely love, where they become literally the center of attention in a lot of cases, where you're officiating these ceremonies. And it is so much fun when you do it right. And it is also fun knowing that you're getting paid for having that fun. So guys, what you want to do is just down below, just type yes, or where I want to send you a package. Now, this is a package that's going to help you start generating leads so that you're going to get proof from the market. The people watching are going to tell you, take my money and help me get these weddings officiated by you remotely, where it's going to be safe, it's going to be fun, and everybody is going to come out a winner because you're coming home with a big fat paycheck. So that's my gift to you. Click down below, get that for free. And if you have a friend who's also thinking about this, or maybe it's your mother, maybe it is a colleague, somebody who spoke to you about needing to transition into a more suitable lifestyle and income for their stage in life, do them a favor and share this video with them. Imagine how relieved they'll know knowing they don't have to be on their feet all day. Imagine how relieved they'll feel knowing that they can provide it for themselves and not become a burden to their community or their family or their loved ones. Do them a favor, please share this with them, and you're really going to help Australia to transition through this smoothly, and especially the people you love the most, they're going to benefit from this. Done. All right. So, wow, guys, I think those awesome examples
Thank you. Give you fantastic.
Perfect. So, guys, I just wanted to show you, you can use this in almost any industry. I haven't found one yet that it doesn't work with. So I just want to encourage you to, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And just like me, I've probably done, I don't know, 500 or so times. Your 100th video is the one you're going to shoot for. Don't stress over the first one. Don't stress about, am I going to get the first one perfect, or the second one or the third one? It's how fast can you get to video number 100? Because your 100th one will be amazing. Your 10th one will be much better than your first one, and so on and so forth. And that's the same thing I tell my students all the time who are going through the course is get the first one out and do it in a private group where you can get some feedback, but also you're not going to get, you know, publicly embarrassed and shamed if you royally fail. You're among a group of people who are actually doing this process with you. So yeah, that's my tip around getting better at doing this.
Excellent. That was awesome. So I think we've not only got some great content today, we've actually learned how to apply it. So I'm hoping everyone got a lot out of this today. So yeah, thank you very much, Ken. Now, I know you've got a special offer for people who are attending today. Could we hear more about that?
If you don't mind, yeah, I will talk about that a bit. But first of all, I just want to make sure, have I answered everybody's questions about what the material today? You said that there was something you wanted to ask later. I want to make sure that everybody who's attending gets the full value out of this, and that whatever I teach here, I don't want it to be something that you just, you know, kind of shove away in your brain or, you know, forget that notebook. You can actually use it and post something. And if there's anything holding you back from that, then I want to solve that right now.
Yeah, we did have a question from Stephen Ferry. He said, can Helga be used for content marketing as well? So text marketing, text marketing, if video is not reachable.
So Hilda, it can be. Now, a lot of people try to get around this video part of things. And yes, it can. The simple truth, though, is that there's nothing more engaging online than video, even if you're a beginner, even if you have to hire somebody else to be the face on the camera for you. Video is just over delivers compared to image, compared to text, compared to everything. So if you want to get started with the Hilda format, yes, that works fine. The one thing that I would say about the Hilda format is if you're going to apply it to text, then the hook should just be the title of the video, of the text piece, and then go straight in, and the introduction should come at the very, very end. You don't need to introduce yourself in text. That should just be where you sign off. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So I've just popped in the chat. If anybody else has any questions that they would like to post or ask, this is the opportunity to do that right now. I want to pop a question in. Stephen's very happy with his answer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I do have, I told you at the beginning, I was going to show you how. Do you remember earlier I showed you briefly about how it's so important to have that headline on top, because if people don't stop with the headline for the video to start auto playing, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Facebook, whatever social platform you're on, then the first words don't have a chance to come out of your mouth to hook them in to continue watching, right? So those first words are so important. And for the 85% of people who are watching without earbuds, they're going to be completely non-viewers, non-customers, because you don't have captions. So I told you I was going to show you how to do this on your phone in 3 minutes or less. So there we have a private Facebook group, and in the Facebook group, I share this stuff. So if you're already in, congratulations. If you're not, it's just get leads with video.com. This will redirect into a Facebook group, and inside of there, I do have those trainings, and you're welcome to join for free. Now, as far as the offer goes, what I've got right now is I've got a 6-week crash course where I actually help build out your entire video funnel system. I show you how to research the titles, research what's already working, and then rewrite that so that it fits to your niche. Hilda content, we do a lot of drill work and practice, and I show you how to edit together shoot HILDA separately and edit those together really simply using an app where it actually just seamlessly brings those together without you having to use a PC at all. Missing link, I help you design yours, the thing that they never knew they always needed. That's priceless to them, free for you. Smooth segue. Now, we talked about how the smooth segue is a combination of both frameworks and scripts. So I'm going to actually help you build yours out. What are the blocks and the scripts you need to do? Like, for example, how do you text like a 14-year-old where each block of text is going to be the ideal length, which, in case you're wondering, is between 7 and 18 words per line, not paragraphs. You know, what type of emojis, what type of GIFs are going to get engagement. So this whole part here, I do in 6 weeks in a private community. And I do have a price, which is $997 to go through this, where we actually coach you through the process. There's weekly content and coaching. So if that's something that's interesting to you, find me inside the group with getleadswithvideo.com, and we can have a conversation to see if this is a good fit for you and if you want to go through with it. So that's it, guys.
Awesome. I can highly recommend that people jump on to, so I'll pop that link into the chat there so you can get access to that awesome content, more content. So from what we've got today. Now we will also have access to a copy of this video for all the attendees, because I'm sure there's a few people who'd like to go back through this. And we'll also, all of our members, we're also going to give them access to the video as well. So you might get some more contacts coming through there, Ken. So yeah, thank you very much.
Great. Perfect.
Any further questions? Any last minute questions? I think that's it. We've excellent. We've gone over time, but thank you very much for today. That was awesome. I got some great content out of that as well. I'm going to give our audience a copy of that Hilda chart that you have, because I think that's going to be very helpful for everyone to be able to use that. So there will be access to that. So we'll send that out to all the attendees as well, so that they've got access to that.
Perfect. Perfect. And if you guys have further questions later, feel free to just look me up, Ken Okazaki, on Facebook. Send me a direct message, and I'd be happy to help you through whatever situation you're in. And yeah, just I love communicating with people on social media. It's just what I do. So yeah. Thank you, Angela, so much. You've been a great host, and I enjoyed sharing this, which if you can't tell, I'm smiling, ear to ear. Is just what I love doing, is sharing what works and helping people pass some of these, these early stages.
Yeah. And there has been a few issues within the training industry where, because of isolation and some of the courses that we're doing, people are quite stuck, but we're on our way out now, so which is really good. So we're getting some great feedback. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending today. And we look forward to catching up with you at future webinars.
Perfect. All right. Bye for now.
Okay. Bye.